Please take your seats. The meeting is about to begin. Remember to speak into the microphone, as this meeting is being recorded for public record. Please stand by. We are going on air in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the April 10th Zoning and Board of Adjustments meeting. I know we're a few members short. I've been doing active recruitment, and I'm hoping by the next meeting we should have a full board. With that, let's get started with attendance.
Okay. Good morning, everybody. I'm going to do a roll call. Ms. Bermelli?
Present.
Ms. Silverman?
Here.
Mr. Krennick?
Present.
Mr. Nagler?
Here.
Mr. Silvers?
Here.
All right, 5 of 5 members are present. We have a quorum. Just for everybody so that you're aware, we do need unanimous decisions for variances to be approved since they require 5 votes and we only have 5 members on the board right now.
Let's continue with any city updates and swearing in the public.
No updates other than the fact that there are some nominations for the commission to consider at the next meeting. So hopefully we'll have the 2 board members, if not the next meeting, then by June at least. So with that, good morning all. I'm going to just explain how you can participate virtually and then swear in those that are here today. So today's meeting of the Board of Adjustment has been scheduled in a hybrid format with a quorum of the board physically present in the commission chambers located at 1700 Convention Center Drive, and applicants, staff, and members of the public appearing either in person or virtually via the Zoom platform. In order to participate in today's meeting, those wishing to participate via the Zoom platform may dial 888-853-5257, which is a toll-free number, and enter the webinar ID, which is 828-6961-5309, or log into the Zoom app and enter the webinar ID, which again is 828-6961-5309. Any individual wishing to speak on an item must click the raise hand icon if they are using the Zoom app, or dial *9 if they are participating by phone. Before I swear in those that will be testifying today, I'm going to read into the record and remind all of the notice of the city's lobbyist registration. If you are appearing on behalf of a business, a corporation, or another person, you need to register as a lobbyist with the city clerk's office. If you haven't registered yet, you should register before you speak to the board. You do not have to register as a lobbyist if you are speaking only on your behalf and not any other party, or if you are testifying as an expert witness providing only scientific, technical, or other specialized information or testimony in this public meeting, or if you are appearing as a representative of a neighborhood association without any compensation or reimbursement for your appearance to express support of or opposition to any item. Expert witnesses and representatives of neighborhood associations shall, prior to appearing, disclose in writing to the city clerk their name, address, and the principal on whose behalf they are communicating. If you are an architect, attorney, or employee representing an applicant or an objector, you must register as a lobbyist. These rules apply whether you are appearing in favor of or against an item, or encouraging or arguing against its passage, defeat, modification, or continuance. So at this time, I'd like to swear in all those that are present in chambers. If you can all, anyone who's testifying this morning, if you can please stand, raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you'll be giving in this proceeding is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you, and please be seated. And with that, if you can all silence or put on vibrate your cell phones, and we'll turn the meeting back to Madam Chair.
I hope everyone had a chance to review the minutes from the February 6th meeting.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
Motion to, all right, minutes pass. We have 2 requests for continuances. ZBA 220143, 125-153 Collins Avenue.
Yes, this is an appeal of the planning director's decision. It's been on the agenda for some time. The 2 parties that are involved indicate that they do feel that they're going to come to an agreement. They've been working on this agreement for some time, but they did request that there be an additional continuance for 1 month.
So that's to the May meeting in a few weeks? or
Yes.
so- Okay. Motion to approve?
Second? Okay, that passes. Next is ZBA 250177, 3010 Alton Road.
This is a request for a variance for several variances for a single-family home. It's an after-the-fact variance. We were preparing the staff report, and we noticed a few other issues that the applicant needed to address. So they are revising a few of their plans. They should, actually just got a message from them now, it should be ready by the May 1st meeting. So they're requesting a one-month continuance as well. to the-
Yes. Wait, hold on. I need you to approach the podium. Please
please.
tell us your name
My name is Stephen Bongini,
and your address.
3000 Alton Road. We're the next door neighbor. That construction was done like 2.5 years ago with zero permits. They've been renting out the place, renting it out short-term, and just got in trouble for that 2 weeks ago. Have it for rent still right now online, and they've had zero variances. There's been zero things done on any of it, and they just keep continuing it. It's been 2.5 years. I think this needs to come to a decision, or at least some kind of hearing. There's a special masters also going on supposedly, but that's been going on for 1.5 years or so, and nothing's happening. They don't even have a permit on, their permits all expired, their applications, they don't even have a permit on. I mean, I don't know how long this is gonna drag out, and they're just gonna be allowed to have that construction there, rent out the house. It's under a unsafe structures order, and they're still renting it out. I don't know how they're doing that either. There has to be some enforcement on this property.
Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Ileana Cruz Bongini. I'm Steve's wife. I reside at 3000 Alton Road, next door to 310 Alton Road. And if we're allowed to speak today, I don't know if we're talking about the continuance, we object to that. But if we're allowed to just go ahead and speak our objection as to the substance. Is that what we're doing?
Yeah, well, what's before the board right now is a request for continuance, so you could address that. If it gets continued, then you'll be back in May 1st to.
Well, yeah, we'd like to object to that because as we're standing here, yesterday it rained, our driveway floods now. Our driveway floods now because of what they did to the grass that used to be next door is now paved over with impermeable materials. You know, I mean, that's why my husband's so upset. I mean, we've been dealing with this and now we have strangers showing up every now and then to Airbnb that house. So, yes, we object to the continuance.
I'm not sure what we do in this.
I mean, at this point, we still have to, you still have to have a motion to
Motion
continue it.
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
Is it possible that we could, if we grant the continuance, just for example, tell the party that is continually asking for continuances, that this is the last one? This is going to be heard in May because there are issues that the neighbors have brought forward, and we want to resolve the issue. So if he doesn't do the continuance this time, you know, if he doesn't come and argue whatever he's arguing for next time, then we're going to, I don't know if that's something that we could do. I'm just asking as a
Absolutely.
compromise
So-
position. What did you have?
Yeah, no, I was gonna, if I may, through the chair.
Okay.
I had the same thought, but I also wanted a little bit more background. How many times has this been continued? If someone is moving for a continuation, are they supposed to show up and ask for it? Because are they here asking for it? How does all that work?
So this item, I believe this is the first time it's on the agenda. Let me double check that.
It was on for last,
It was on for last month, but the meeting was canceled, so that's why it's on this month. This, without a doubt, they have a lot of, they're coming, and this is an after-the-fact variance, so there's a lot of issues here without a doubt. And that's what they're seeking to address. We're not ready to present a recommendation yet. Today, we still have a lot of issues that we're working out with them, and just inconsistency between the plans and what's there. So it's, you know, it's up to the board to approve if they want to continue the item. But there's definitely, you're right, there's issues there. I mean,
May I interject one more thing? If we do go ahead and continue to the next month, may we have an opportunity to submit an objection in writing?
Absolutely.
Yes.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yes, please do, actually. I
Okay,
mean,
then we'll go ahead
because
and
we
do
hadn't
that.
heard anything, so we didn't realize there were issues within it. We
Perfect.
thought they were simply permitting issues that we were dealing with. We didn't realize that
Okay.
there were
My
other.
husband would like to say
Yeah,
something.
absolutely.
And one other thing, if you're looking into other things, the coverage of the artificial turf on the side lot, I don't know if that's one thing you're looking at, but
Yes,
please look into that,
it's-
because they have cement a foot thick under that artificial turf going right up to almost the property line. And that's what's causing all the water to go into our
The drain.
yard. It used to be, we don't need to get into issues now, but please look into that, as I don't see that as
Absolutely.
even asking for a variance for that, and that's gonna have to be torn up if they don't get a variance.
And just for the record, we've owned our house for 25 years.
Okay. Yeah, absolutely. That's definitely one of the variances. You're not allowed to cover the whole yard, and they did.
But is there setbacks on this, sorry, but are there setbacks on the side? Aren't there setbacks for the concrete on the side or artificial turf?
You're only allowed to have artificial turf where a walkway is allowed, and walkways are limited to 44 inches, and I know the
On
entire
the
yard.
sides or something? You can't
Yeah.
do the whole side,
Right.
side lot, so that's part of it that's not even under the variance, okay, thank you.
Just a question for staff. So if we were to not grant the continuance, then we'd hear it now, theoretically?
Theoretically, you would hear it
Theoretically,
now.
yes, but staff's not
Yeah.
prepared.
Yeah.
So-
They don't have a
so I don't-
recommendation yet.
So I don't see how, like, we would really have an option, just in general, not
Mm-hmm.
even specific in this case, not to grant it. So I mean, I agree that,
But certainly you could put no further continuances if you so desire. in the
yeah, I would
motion.
just, my only hesitation there would be, if we don't have a full board by next meeting.
But that's not technically a continuance, that's just lack of quorum.
No, but if we do have 5 and not 7, that could put,
May
unfair,
I have a suggestion. If we withdraw the objection with the contingency that there will be no further continuances, is that something that you guys can agree to?
And I'd rather have you object. I don't want you to
Can I
waive your
just
right
ask,
to
can I
object.
ask a question? Does staff think they will be ready by next meeting? Like, you say there's a lot of issues here and you're working with the applicant?
The objection was to the continuance.
Oh,
Right, but I'm
thought
just
you objected.
wondering if, just given the amount of issues and whatever research you have to do, or, I mean, God knows, I don't know the whole process. Do you think you could be, ready by next meeting? Is that a reasonable, if we put that on you, is it reasonable to put it on you?
Yes, the issue was their plans were missing things that were there, that were built. And so they've seemed to have corrected that at least. Now, I'm not making any speculations as to what our recommendation is going to be, but from what I just saw, the plans are now at least correct. So I think they're going to be ready to proceed.
Do
But I
we
would
have
just-
access to those plans?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, I'm just not sure we can make a motion to say no more, because we could hear that and then decide on the merits that we want to continue it next. So I don't see how we could how we could put that in a motion that would, no other continuances, period.
Well,
But
is there another way to put more pressure on the applicant to, again, I guess this is the first time they've asked for it, so let me ask this. This has obviously been going on for quite some time, right? And so do they have a giant, file of code violations or something? I mean, what has been going on in the meantime when they haven't
What's the
tried to get
address?
any variances?
310.
And, and all of this other stuff has been
3010,
going on.
sorry, 3010.
So they do have several violations for construction without a permit. I think
yeah, I'm going
You're
to just, hopefully, I can get to the,
So they're coming in for an after-the-fact variance. They did start quite some time ago, and it's been difficult to get the correct plans submitted with this process. It's after the fact. They're basically drawing plans of what they built without a permit. So it's an odd situation. Let's see what.
I was just curious, if it's been going on for a while, then is it just coming up now? Yeah.
because they need for a building violation, they need a building permit to correct it. So it's either you legalize what's there, or you have to remove everything, so you would need a demolition permit. So as part of the intake, you submit everything to the building department, and then it gets routed through the various departments for review under the 30-day guidelines. So planning would have failed the permit if there was issues as far as what is being attempted to be legalized, like what we heard a little bit about the artificial turf. So they would have to come to you guys for a variance. If you deny the variance, then that has to be removed. So there are 2 special magistrate cases that are open. They have been heard on January of this year, and they are older violations. I'm just pulling up the docket to see what. They're supposed to be in compliance by July 6, 2026, or a $100 a day fine will run for each violation.
Just given the balance that we're trying to, and I understand the point that has been made about, if we take our own, we take ourselves hostage by saying no further continuances, basically. So what do you suggest as to being able to, make sure that this doesn't drag on, but yet not handcuff ourselves, and if there's a reasonable reason to, grant a continuance next time? I mean, how can we pressure the applicant to, get everything into us in time and be a good citizen when clearly we know he hasn't necessarily been a good citizen before?
Well, one of the pressures is the special magistrate case, which is going to start to run fines in a couple of months if they're not fully inspected on the work that was out there. So just for the board to know, BVC 23001057 is a violation for renovation of a single-family home to include all trades, work to include a new attached addition, windows, doors, kitchen renovation, renovation of all bathrooms, new plumbing and electrical throughout, hi-hat fixtures, AC units, mini splits, water heaters, fence, gates, replace electrical panels and structural work, to seal openings done without permits, need to cease and desist work immediately. The other violation is for installation of a new driveway and pavers towards the front of the property without approved permits. All work must cease on the driveway and the pavers. So they do have a substantial amount of work. They essentially, from what I could read here, built the new house without permits. So I doubt that they will have this all done by July, the
So I
compliance
just-
date.
okay.
So they'll be running fines.
So
on
another
each of those
question just
cases.
about that. I have no idea. Like, you do something without a permit, that doesn't mean you don't do it to code, but it doesn't mean that you do either, right? So
That's why we need drawings, as-built drawings.
I understand that, but in the meantime, while we're trying to futz around and get all, not that we're futzing around, while we're trying to get all the stuff that we need together to do a proper analysis, has anybody from the city gone out there to see if this is a fire hazard or some giant catastrophe? I mean, I have no idea. And it may be and it may not be, who knows?
That's why the building department wrote the appropriate violation and issued a stop work order, cease and desist. So that can only be lifted by the building official. So yes, it is considered life safety. The alternative would be to take the structure to the Unsafe Structures Board, and it would be under the standard of repair or demolish. Again, if they choose to repair it, they're going to have to seek certain variances from what's been built out there.
I understand, but so.
But if
But these
when you
people are
hear it-
saying that they're Airbnb-ing the house, right? So you're saying it's under a life safety cease and desist
If-
order, and they're still allowing people to live there?
If there are code violations, then I strongly encourage the neighbors to report it to code compliance, because we cannot take anonymous complaints. And if there are violations, and if Airbnb rentals are pursued there, that would be 2 things to be discussed. One would be the code violation, and the other would bring it to the building official's attention. So, right now, the only thing before the board is whether to continue this to next month or not.
All right, I guess you're trying to get us back on track.
Yeah,
I was
I mean,
about to take it
that's-
further off track. Fine. Okay. I mean, I'm just curious, did they just made the statement in a public forum?
It's got to be written under
Got
under
it.
Florida law.
Got it.
A couple of years ago, they passed, it cannot be anonymous. It can't be just calling up and saying, I want to report something. It has to be a written complaint.
Understood. Okay, so I guess we get back on track with the continuance. I mean, so my position is that staff is not prepared to give us a recommendation, and I would be uncomfortable proceeding without a recommendation from staff.
So, is that a motion to approve?
Yeah, I have a motion to grant the continuance.
Do I have a second? Second. Okay, continuance passes. No, alterations to that, right? Or just-
No.
Okay, new application,
We just need the vote. Is it unanimous?
By acclamation?
I didn't know Mr. Silvers was looking this way, so I wasn't sure if he was.
oh, Janet second.
I
No, but
second,
I didn't
we
know
have to
what the
vote.
vote was.
All in favor?
No, we all have to vote.
Favor, sorry.
After the second, then that
Yeah,
allows us to
got
then
it. I
vote.
thought I did do that. But I didn't. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
New applications. ZBA 250194, 4550 Sheridan Avenue.
This application has been filed requesting a variance to reduce the required front yard setback to allow for the construction of a swimming pool and deck on an irregular lot with an existing home. This home is located in the RS4 zoning district, and it was built in 1937, and it has an unit size about 2,000 square feet. Specifically, the applicant is seeking the following variance: a variance of the required front yard setback of 20 feet to construct a new swimming pool with a front setback of 5 feet to the pool coping. This lot has an irregular shape, and the existing home occupies the majority of the rear yard, which limits the available space for new amenities. Due to its configuration, the only feasible location for a swimming pool is in the front yard. The land development regulations require that swimming pools follow their main building setback, which for a single-story home is 20 feet. The setback requirement, property shape, and existing home layout do not allow for a pool in any other location. Requiring full compliance with the setback requirements would impose a significant hardship and practical difficulty. Currently, the front yard is enclosed by an existing 5-foot-tall wooden fence and a cloche hedge that will remain. As a result, negative impacts are not anticipated from granting the proposed variance. In light of these circumstances, the staff is supportive of granting the proposed variance. So I will leave the applicant to present.
Hello.
Please state your name.
Wait, before we start, any board disclosures? No,
No.
okay. And I'll set the clock at 10 minutes. If you need more time, please ask the chair. Okay?
Perfect.
Thank you.
No problem. Hello, my name is Maria Valladares. Thank you for having us today. This is my client, and the property is located in 4550 Sheridan Avenue. I don't know if you guys can see the presentation we put up. Perfect. We're asking, like, Mr. Jaravito mentioned, to build a swimming pool in the front of the property. If you can see here in the lot of the home, this property, the lot is very irregular. So in the rear and the sides, they really have no space to build a pool. My clients love their home. You know, they have called it as their forever home, and they would really love to be able to enjoy it for their family and add a pool. The design we're proposing meets the side and the rear setbacks, and they also comply with all the other zoning and building regulations. We are meeting the permeability issue. We have everything up to code. This will allow my client to have, again, just a proper home, just a better home to enjoy with their friends and family, live a healthier lifestyle, and it will also increase, it could increase the property value. Here you can see the survey. It also shows you, again, there's very small space in the rear. On the sides, they have about 5 feet in the rear, about 13 feet. And, with the setbacks, we would not be able to build anything in the rear. This is where we are proposing to put the pool, which is in the front yard. This is what it looks like right now. In the inside, they have all this area closed by a fence and shrubs. So there's nothing that it will affect the public. It will look the same. And if you can see here, this is a proposed site plan of what we would like to build. Again, everything meets the calculations needed for drainage, It's just, again, it's just enhancing the property for their lifestyle. Here you can see a few renders of what they are envisioning and can't wait to have in their home. This is what it would look like. They have more than enough green space to meet the code as well. Would you like to say anything? I don't know.
You done? Do you want to say anything?
Yeah, hi, I'm the homeowner. Thank you so much for considering our proposal. We would really, I mean, the only adjustment we're asking is for it to be a little bit further away from the house. And so just, we would like to, if we have it, I think it's 12 inches from the house is what would be, is what, we're just asking for it to be a little bit further so we can have some usable space between the house and the pool.
Yes. Yeah, if we keep the regular front setbacks, they will really be able to have, they really would not be able to have a swimming pool in the front. It would be very, very small. So if we are able to encroach into the front setback, they'll be able to build this nice living space in their yard, in their front yard.
Yeah, and so we're just asking for a pool. We've talked to all of our neighbors. We have letters
Yes,
from
yeah.
our left side, our right side, straight
letters
across
from
the street. They don't have any issues or concerns with it. And we would really appreciate your consideration.
Yes.
Thank you. Yeah, I saw the letters, and thank you for coming in personally. Anyone on the public or on Zoom want to say anything? I don't see anyone here.
There are, if you're on Zoom, please raise your hand if you'd like to speak. No hands raised.
Any questions from the board?
Just
The existing hedge that's against the wall, the fence?
Yes.
Is that going to
Yes.
be removed?
No, because they have a gate on the side that.
No, but
we're
the hedge
able-
itself, it's the trees that are blocking to the street.
Not necessary. We have enough access to.
enough room there?
Yes, we need about 6 to 7 feet to go in and do other construction, and we have that space.
I guess because of the configuration of the lot,
Yes.
you have a limited ability to put a swimming pool other than where you have it.
Yes, there
And
is
with
no
the
space.
With the existing hedge and trees that are there, I think it would completely block it from the public.
Yes,
So
yes.
I think it's a good solution.
Question for staff, is this a unique lot size in that area, or all the lots, or a lot of the lots are similar?
This is a unique, this block is unique. Most of the blocks in this neighborhood are pretty standard, and this is a very unique block.
I have a question. It said that you're recommending approval with conditions, but what were the conditions?
The conditions in the order. let's
It
go to
says
them.
paragraph B, but I don't see an attachment of paragraph B.
All right, so we have, they're usually standard conditions that we include in the order that they require that the plans be submitted consistent with what was approved by the board and with the direction of the board, requires that the final order be recorded. So they're just standard things. We don't have any, in this case, this variance, we didn't feel it needed any particular mitigation, just as long as everything's consistent with the plans that were submitted, including the landscaping, that they keep the hedge that's proposed. They should be okay. Yeah.
Any other questions? No? Do I have a motion to approve?
Motion to approve?
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Any opposed? No.
All in favor?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Congratulations.
Great.
Thank you so much. We really
much.
appreciate it.
Would you like me to turn in the neighbor, letters approving?
Yes, if you can, yeah.
Yes,
Yeah, we'll add it to the file.
Perfect.
If you can just.
Should I
send
email
us-
it to you or give it to?
Yeah, feel free to, if you have them physically here, give it to us and we can scan them.
To you?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, moving on to ZBA 250-195, 5825 Collins Avenue.
This application has been filed requesting a variance of the side interior and some of side yard setbacks to allow for the construction of an emergency egress stairs for an existing apartment building.
Okay, so this is the Corinthian condominium located on Collins Avenue, just north of 58th Street. They are currently undertaking some renovations of their pool deck, and as part of that, the fire marshal has required that they add a second means of egress for fire safety. This lot is a legally non-conforming lot. There's a parking deck that surrounds the building, and really, this is the only area where they could put the fire exit. There's no other places on the site where they could have that second means of egress. As a result of that, their setback, the stairs encroach into the setback a minimal amount. It's 1.54 feet into the required side yard setback, so they need a variance for that. And then there's another issue. We advertised some of the side yards, however, the plans were shown, and they appeared that the north side of the lot was a surface parking lot, but it's actually a structured garage. So there's actually zero setback on the north side of the lot, so they do need some of the side yard setback as well, and that's not included in the draft order. So we do recommend that, that a variance for some of the side yards be added to the draft order. It was advertised that way. Looking at it, it seemed like they might need it, so in an abundance of caution, we included it. And so that would require a variance of 19.36 feet of the sum of the side yard setback, in addition to the side yard setback of 1.54 feet. The applicant has some pictures that they can show of the location. There's minimal impacts. The adjacent property to the south, which this will be facing, has there's a privacy wall between the two properties, and the property to the south has an egress stair that's basically parallel to this, so it'll be stairs facing stairs. There will be no negative impacts. It won't impact views. And so with that, staff recommends that the application be approved, subject to the conditions in the draft order, which are the standard conditions.
Any disclosures? Can you please state your name?
Good morning. Alfredo Gonzalez is with office at 333 Southeast 2nd Avenue on behalf of the 5825 Corinthian Condominium Association. I also wanted, so we could put up on, I do have a PowerPoint perfect. And I'll walk through, we are requesting two variances. The condominium was built in 1967 and is existing legally non-conforming. They have been, as part of ongoing recertification issues, working on the pool deck. Under the current life safety requirements of the fire department, they require a second egress. Unfortunately, and I'll go through, here's a survey of the site. The site is built onto the north. There's a parking deck at the property line, which was legal in 1967. So there's no room to go off through the north. When you go to the east, as towards the beach walk, we already have one egress there, and there's a very narrow space between the parking deck and the pool deck to the property line, so we couldn't facilitate another egress in that area. So the only place where we could actually incorporate a second egress would be, and here I did a little analysis on this exhibit, where you see that we could add a staircase that goes out our driveway, our interior driveway of the property on the southern portion. And when you take a look at it, you'll see that, I also want to know for the record, the building is not increasing any occupancy. It's the existing units, mezzanine level, and the existing pool deck that's triggered under the code today because of the renovation, this new egress. So what they're doing is adding an emergency stair egress up against the wall. I'll show you some pictures. And then I wanted to, Rogelio, this morning I reviewed the order. I think the numbers are wrong on the summer sides. If you look at my exhibit, and we could get into it after I'll finish going through the presentation. But we're going to need a relief on the summer sides by 19 feet, 36 inches. Because since the summer side is a 16% of lot width, which could be provided either from the north or the south or in some combination, and our northern property line, we're built to the property line, we have to meet 100% of the sum of the side to the south. That puts the sum of the side today somewhere inside the parking deck, underneath, inside the building. If you see the exhibit, the blue line, you'll see that substantially within the structure it would be the required sum of side. So we're actually asking for a relief of 16.32, sorry, we're going to provide 16.3.2 feet. We're asking for relief by 19.36 feet of the sum of the side. So, and I'll go through here. So you can see this is from Collins Avenue from the sidewalk. We have hedges and it pretty much blocks all the way in the rear of the property where the stairwell will be added. Here's another view. We're actually, obviously under construction right now, which is a lot of fun to. And then we'll have some renderings. This is some of our renderings. This is where the stairwell, we work with staff to make sure it blends in. It's painted white, so it blends in with the building, less intrusive. And that's why we need a variance for those two spots. I do want to point out that we do meet the hardships because there are special conditions. These are pre-existing building, and the fire code, as it is today in 2026, wasn't applicable when the building was built. We're not expanding the building. In addition to that, we found the minimum width stairwell that could be added, so we're not asking for a greater variance that's necessary, and it wouldn't create any hardship or harm in the neighborhood. Actually, it would enhance it. It would provide a life safety to the unit owners of the building. And if anyone if we correct the second variance, then we support the conditions in the order. Any questions?
Anyone on Zoom or in the public?
That concludes your presentation.
Yeah, that concludes my presentation.
So I'll stop the clock for that, and now we'll go to the public.
All right.
Anybody
Anyone?
on Zoom, if you'd like to speak, raise your hand. No hands raised.
I'll close the public.
Anyone on the board have any question?
So is this staircase going to be used, or is it just an emergency? There's going to be like a gate on it so people can obviously.
There'll be a gate, a security gate, as we have on the other side. It's really going to be used only for emergencies. It's not intended to exit the property.
Thanks.
Right now, just to answer, typically, when you're on the pool deck, there are doors into the mezzanine level that then you go into the lobby. And that's how people typically access the pool from that portion. There's also an entrance through the northern side of the pool deck that starts the parking deck. There's also an egress there. There's an exit to the building. So you come out the building, you go into the pool, and then you walk to the eastern portion, walk down those stairs to get to the beach and beach walk.
What
So-
would be the gate, the height of the gate, that emergency gate you're talking about?
We're proposing to make it, and I don't have the exact height, at a low height at the low point, but when we're up at the parking deck, have a higher point, so it keeps the security of the building. You can't access the parking deck today, the pool deck, without a fob, and all our other entrances are keyed entry with a larger gate, so we're looking at putting some type of gate that's a little higher at the pool deck, so it wouldn't interfere with the desk. I know at one point they were talking about doing a complete enclosure similar to what's at the beach walk, but we agreed with staff that would be a more intrusive and more visible structure than what we're proposing.
Mr. Nagler? Yeah, Mr. Nagler.
For staff, I guess needless to say, this would meet what the fire marshal is looking for.
Yes.
And as the fire marshal, does anyone else need to look at what it now does, which is seemingly put people into a roadway? I mean, it seems like it goes into an entrance or exit to a parking garage. Is that okay?
Yes, it gets people to the ground level so they can evacuate the site. It's what's commonly done in many of the other buildings that are a little more modern. You see a staircase on the side yard that brings one to the front, and they typically have one that does go into the back as well.
Okay, and then, I
There's
know.
only two means of egress.
And I could give you some more information on that if you like.
No, it's sorry, thank you. And then I know you said it's not written into the order, but we would add it into the order, the sum of the side yards.
Yes, it is, I apologize, it is in the order, but it does have an incorrect number.
Well, it has two.
Yes, it has some of the side yard setbacks, it says 1.54 feet, which is the same number used for the side interior setback. So it should be corrected to say 9.36 feet,
I just want-
19.36 feet.
I just want to confirm that staff is recommending approval of that variance also.
Yes,
All right,
yes.
thank you.
Yeah, they go hand in hand.
And I believe the 35.72 should be 35.68.
The required? Yep,
Yeah, the required.
I agree.
So that's 16% of 223 feet, which is a lot width.
Yeah. The plan that was submitted, the engineer and led us to believe that the north part of the site was a surface parking lot, and therefore it appeared that they met the sum of the side yard setbacks, but it's actually a two-story parking structure, so it doesn't meet the sum of the side yard setbacks. So that's why we had the confusion.
Yeah. And I apologize, I came in later, and when I talked to Rogelio about it, I explained to him, that I'm familiar with the site, that is a parking lot, but from the survey, it does appear that it's a surface parking lot, so it would easily,
But thankfully, we did advertise it. When I was looking at it, I'm like, something is off here, so thankfully, we did advertise it, so it's okay to include the variance.
Okay. I think you're being pretty reasonable. I don't know if there's any other option, so.
Thank you.
Do I have a motion to approve?
I make a motion to approve.
Second?
Second with those changes, right? On the second variance, 35.68 and 19, whatever it was, point.
I thought you were doing another math. Any opposed? No? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes.
Thank you very much. Have a great day.
Thank you for coming in. Your thing, the agenda's a little out of order, but I would just move on from here. The future meeting date reminder is May 1st.
The next meeting will be May 1st, yes.
Is there any idea how many items will be on there?
We have one new application, the item that was continued from today's meeting, and there is an appeal. They likely want a full board, so they may be requesting a continuance unless we have a full board for that appeal. And likely the appeal that we have on there today, if we don't have a full board, they might request another continuance.
Okay.
So two at a minimum, but maybe three.
All right, thanks.
Okay?
I think that concludes our
Are you
meeting.
going back to the office?
Yes.
Motion to conclude, adjourn?
Motion to adjourn?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Nay. No, I'm kidding. All right.
When is
Thank
our-
you.
I'm sorry, you said our next meeting is?
May 1st.